live, dude. You're getting all the great material, and it should have been on there. You know what I'm
Here
saying?
it comes.
Do
We are
the same
live.
thing every month.
What's up with that, everybody?
Look at
Do
that.
I have to? Do we have to do a refresher on the oatmeal?
Yes. Go ahead, Hub. Start us off. This is
So
great. Starts off every month.
anywhere you go on a trip, then you really should have some oatmeal to go with your trip there. So if I get a driver pick me up or something, I'm going to the grocery store first thing because I got to have some oatmeal. Just wanted you guys to know about that.
We're going to get more into the oatmeal and traveling and Houston and tomato juice and everything else as we get into this. Bay, bring us live.
All right, everybody. Happy March, everybody. The closing table. We're here for this segment of the month, and we are brought to you every single month thanks to Dan Pizzi and NextHome Brandywine for all of your real estate needs. They cover everywhere from Delco, Chesco, Philadelphia, all the way out to Lancaster and beyond. Doesn't matter if you're in California, they'll get you what you need thanks to NextHome and NextHome Brandywine. And this month, as always, we are not only joined by myself and Dan, but our good friend Hub from Dallas, Texas is in here to lend his expertise and knowledge in the world of not only real estate, but life. But more importantly, we have our special guest of the month, and we are very excited and very happy to welcome Amanda to the show. And she's from this amazing organization called Keep Delco Smiling. And we're going to learn all about Amanda and Keep Delco Smiling and exactly what it is. So, everybody, welcome to the show. We're here. Dan, do your thing.
Thanks for bringing us in, Bay. Welcome to another month of the Closing Table podcast. Generally, we talk real estate, music, life. We get some hubisms. We're going to go right in with our guest this week to get it started. You like that, Bay? Hubisms. That's new.
Hubisms.
Amanda, thanks for coming on. So Bay said to me, hey, we want to try to diversify the guests and get some fun, fresh guests on with us. And he said, hey, I met this girl, Amanda, and she has a small 501c3. I'm looking at some notes here. And they have a website and Facebook page called Keep Delco Smiling. So I'm going to read the mission statement, and then we're going to get into some conversation with Amanda about this. This is great stuff, especially in the current economic climate. Some tough times going on. This is terrific. Started it back in 2019, and the mission was to keep Delco smiling by performing acts of kindness. And it states that we aim to strengthen our community with kindness and to connect people based on their shared humanity. So as you know, at NextHome Brandywine, we're always preaching humans first, humans over houses. So every month when we bring a guest on, they tie in to what we're trying to promote and what our beliefs are and the way we do things at NextHome Brandywine. So Amanda, thanks for coming on. I'll start us off. So some of the reading, I was running around all day, but I got a chance to read a little bit. So tell us about the kind of the way things got started and how they get started for you back in 2019 regarding your website and your 501c3 Keep Delco Smiling.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for. So back in 2019, we weren't an actual nonprofit then. I was just doing this anonymously, and not even my husband knew what I was doing. I created this Facebook page called Keep Delco Smiling, and it was pretty much nothing. Like, it wasn't active. It was just me giving people a place to go and share their experiences if they received an act of kindness. So I made these business cards, and I'd go out and I'd do random things, and I'd leave a business card there. And some of them were really little because I was doing all of it with my own money. Like, I'd go to Dollar Tree, and I'd go to this is back when Dollar Tree was still a dollar, before it was before inflation. And I would leave one of the business cards with $1 attached to it with paper clip, and I'd throw it in the kids' toy area. And I imagined a little kid finding it and being like, Mom, I $. Little things like that. I started out by doing just little things like that. And one time my husband caught me doing it because he caught me putting a business card in an extra $20 in the check at a restaurant after he had already put the tip in it. And he's like, what's that? And I'm like, don't worry about it. Mind your business. But eventually I told him, and he was kind of excited about it and encouraged me to do more with it. But at the time I didn't. It was kind of just something I did on my own. I didn't really want the attention. I'm kind of introverted. I've had to force myself to be a lot more extroverted to do this. But probably around 2020 when COVID was happening and the presidential election was coming up. I spent a lot of time on social media, especially now after starting the nonprofit, but even before, I would be pretty connected with like the neighbors and stuff on social media. And there was just so much negativity. The country was so divided. People were arguing about COVID, about vaccines, about the presidential election. And it was like, everything was so divided. Everyone was just angry all the time. And I was like, okay, I think it's a time for me to maybe do something more with this. And I didn't really know where to get started at first, but I decided to just do an Easter egg hunt for our neighborhood. And probably about 50 kids showed up. And I bought all the candy, invited the whole neighborhood, put it on the Facebook page. And it ended up being a big success. And people were like, what is this Keep Delco Smiling thing? And I didn't really know how to explain it because we had just started it. No one knew what it was. So I was like, oh, I guess I might make it a nonprofit at some point. And a lot of people encouraged me to do so. So then I did all the paperwork and got everything up and going. And the first year was super busy because I had to get our name out there. So our Facebook page started becoming really active. We have about 3,300 Facebook followers now. So it's really grown a lot. But we just try to do acts of kindness to bring the community together and to make people a little bit happier because there's enough negativity in the world. And I just want to bring some positivity to it. I think Delco is a great community, and I've been here since 2013, and I love it here. It's home. I don't imagine myself ever leaving now that I'm here. So I figure this is my home. I might as well make it better however I can.
I want to continue down that path, but can people donate to the organization?
Oh yes, we could definitely use donations. I have not been doing a whole lot of fundraising lately because we're a small organization. There's just 3 of us.
It's a perfect platform for you to pump it up and get some donations here. So once we'll revisit it, but we'll go along down this path some more. But tell us where we can donate.
KeepDelcoSmiling.org is our website, or you can look us up on Facebook and you can donate through the Facebook page, or we have Venmo and Cash App at Keep Delco Smiling is the name for that, or keepdelcosmiling@yahoo.com is our email address, which is registered with PayPal. So there's plenty of options to donate.
Excellent. All right. Bring these guys in here. Go ahead, babe.
Amanda, was there any one situation in your life that made you think about doing this? Was there something that happened that really truly sparked this whole thing?
I think part of it was my own mental illness. I have bipolar disorder, so I deal with depression a lot.
Okay.
And when I started it, I was fighting off depression, and sometimes I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to do anything. So I told myself that I had to do something, and if I couldn't come up with the energy to do something for myself, I'd get myself out of the house and do something for somebody else. And that was how I started, with doing the little things, like leaving the house and leaving a Dollar Tree with a little note attached to it, so a little kid could find it and buy themselves a toy or something, like
right,
things like that. Because that way, when I didn't do much during the day because I was feeling depressed, I could look back and say, hey, I could have made somebody else's day better by doing that little thing, whatever it was. So that was kind of how I started, and it did. It helped me. It helped me feel like I had some sort of purpose.
That's awesome. I was going to say, so it's almost been like you're a therapy for you. Has it been helping you as well then?
It has been. And the number of people I've met in the past 3 years since we've been doing this is, it's insane how many people I've met. I've made some good friends through the organization.
That's amazing. That really is.
Not to get off track, but a lot of people have, people in my family battle, like the anxiety and stuff. Interesting that you because you're putting yourself out there with the organization that you're running. It took you time to feel comfortable to put yourself out there because, like you said, you felt good doing random acts of kindness, but I'm sure it was hard, especially having a disorder, to be able to put yourself out there in a position that you have to come some things internally, right, to kind of put yourself out there a little bit. And yeah. I find that interesting.
It was difficult. I don't really like being the center of attention. And in order to do this, I knew I had to kind of be the face of the organization because my husband's the other main person doing stuff, and he's kind of quiet. He's not exactly shy, but he's just kind of quiet. He's more of a behind-the-scenes type of person. He does a lot of stuff with the organization. He helps a lot, but he pretty much refused to be like the face of the organization. So I got stuck with that role, but it fits me. And the reason that I mentioned my mental illness is because I try to be open about who I am, and I try to show people that even if you have problems, like, I'm not this perfect person that's changing the world or anything. Like, I'm just a regular person. I have regular problems like other people do. I try to be open about stuff like that because a lot of people are struggling in various different ways. A lot of people are lonely. And the people that I've met through the page, a lot of them have reached out to me through the Facebook page. And we've had like extended conversations. Like, I might know about their children. I might know about stuff they're dealing with in their life where it's gotten quite personal. And
Wow.
just for them to have an opportunity to talk to somebody that cares. That's one of the reasons I put myself out there, and why I'm as open as I am, because I think there's quite a stigma with mental health. So I try to talk about it just to kind of let people know, hey, if you're struggling, talk about it. It helps.
I think you may be getting more out of this with the community that you've developed with the people, even more so than just with the acts of kindness too. I mean, I know they're both great, but the sharing and the community, the fellowship you have with the other kind givers, for lack of a better word, is actually a huge reward.
It really is. I've met some great people. About a year and a half ago, I had surgery, and I was home recovering for about a month, and the amount of people that reached out and offered to help just based on people that I had met through this nonprofit was amazing.
Wow.
I mean, they were like probably more there for me than like some of my family was. Not that my family doesn't want to help, but some of them live farther away and stuff. You know, some of them live far away or older and couldn't help. But I had people that I met through the nonprofit like come over and bring me dinner, and it just meant so much to me. I was like, wow, I put this out in the world, and it's coming back to me now.
Because that's a like-minded fellowship that you have with them.
Yeah.
But the thing is when you're giving these things, are these only random acts that the person doesn't know? For instance, you leave $1 for someone or something like that, or are there acts of kindness that people do know, and that you meet with those people that you've done things for them and they know you've done them? Is that true too? Is it not?
Now that we're an actual nonprofit, most of it is not anonymous. Most people
it is anonymous, or it is not anonymous?
It's not.
It's not.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes it will be, but most of the time it's not, because we'll raise money and then we need to show it. So we kind of have to take credit. We don't take credit. We're not showing what we're doing, and then nobody's going to donate any money. So
right.
I had to kind of stop doing things anonymously so that I could fund the organization, which was kind of difficult because I prefer doing it anonymously. Sorry.
Yeah, but once you get used to it, I'm sorry I interrupted, but once you get used to it, that's actually really good for you, because you get even more feedback, I would say.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I connect with the people that I'm helping. And a lot of times, like, we don't just do stuff for people that are in financial need. We try to do stuff for everyone. Like, for example, every Tuesday we do giveaways on our Facebook page. We call it Treat Yourself Tuesday. Usually It's sponsored by local businesses like restaurants, bars. We've had several realtors that donate money just to get their name out there. So basically they get advertising on the page. They give away money or a product, and people on our page will comment on it. Like, if you were to look at our page tonight, I have to do the video tonight to choose the winner, but every Tuesday people enter to win. Like right now we have someone donated a gift card for a deli. So like we have people entering to win that gift card. And that's every week that we do that. So that keeps our Facebook followers involved. And it gives
what type
a way to
type of donations do you need? Would you rather gift cards? Would you rather cash donations? What type of donations could best help the organization?
Sorry, I'm gonna turn the light on because it got real dark in here.
Yeah, the sun's going down. We're losing our light. There we go.
It was light when we started, and then it got dark. Sorry if you couldn't see me very well. So we're doing pretty good with getting gift cards. We tend to do well with our Tuesday giveaways as far as businesses sponsoring and stuff, but we don't have a whole lot of funds as far as monetary donations to plan events and stuff. We have in the past done free events for the community. Like every year so far, we did a bowling event. It's free to anyone in the community that RSVPs until we reach our limit of how many people we can take. It doesn't matter if the person's rich or poor, because it's not based on financial need, because the idea is just everyone deserves kindness. So everyone is able to benefit from our services. So when we have money, we like to do events. But I haven't done a whole lot of fundraising because it's time consuming, you know, and it also involves me putting myself out there and asking people for money and writing letters to big organizations.
Listen to this. I'll pledge 200 from NextHome Brandywine right now. Right?
Thank
Anybody
you.
wants to donate? This is a terrific cause. I know my father, God rest his soul, would have loved this because, you know, that what you do unto others, you know, helping somebody, just those little things that you're doing make a big difference in people's lives. And a lot of stuff that people go into. So I'll pledge 200. Maybe we're going to put that up there again at the end, and hopefully we get you some donations.
And we will donate $50.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll get information from you guys and definitely put something on the page that you donate and stuff. Make sure we recognize you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Anyway, go ahead. We're going to continue with some of the stuff she does. And go ahead, babe.
You know what's interesting too that really stood out to me is she's not from Delco. She moved into the Delco area, you know, like 10 years ago, and she's probably doing more for Delco than most people that have lived in Delco all their life do. So that speaks volumes about her.
Where's she from?
So I'm from Bucks County, and I just want to say I think it speaks volumes to our community here in Delco, not just to me, because where I grew up at in Bucks County, I mean, we had neighbors close to us. It's not like we lived out in the country or something.
Right.
But I didn't even know a lot of the neighbors. Like, there wasn't much of a sense of community where I was at. I just felt, I didn't really feel, I mean, I only lived there till I was 19. I served in the military. I was in the Navy for 6 years. So I moved all over after high school.
Thank you for your service.
But thank you. But that's where I grew up at, and there wasn't much of a strong sense of community. At least back then there wasn't. I mean, I didn't even know my neighbors. Now I know, I know everyone. I'll go out grocery shopping, and people will be like, "Hey, aren't you that lady that makes people smile?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's me. Hi." So I feel like there's more of a sense.
Always had a sense of that.
What's that?
We always had a sense of that camaraderie, and the neighbors knew you. And in fact, we talk about it all the time. You know, that close knit group that we were back in Delaware County. I'm sure things changed, but it's still it's a little rough around the edges, you know, but it's still that community where people do care. They'll come together if there's, you know, something goes wrong. We've seen it so many times. Kind of allude to what Hub mentioned, you know, by doing the random acts of kindness, I think it's helping you and other people in different areas as well, which is another great thing. Let people open up and talk, have a conversation around what you're doing with the 501c3. It just expands into bigger, better things. I think it's tremendous. So tell us recently how things are going, and kind of maybe anything coming up, any events coming up, or anything that you're trying to plan for the near future.
We definitely want to do another bowling event because we did it the past 2 years. It was very successful. It didn't cost a ton of money. It was easy to plan, which is all good things for me because we're a small team. So we don't want anything too involved. So we're hoping to do our bowling event again. We're just looking for donations and sponsors to be able to do that. That will probably be sometime in the middle to end of July. Usually we do it in the beginning, but we'll be out of town. So that's just something where people can come out with their families and spend an afternoon bowling and eating pizza, and it's free. We've done other events in the past, like we did an adults-only arcade night at Game on State, which is in media. We did a Chuck E. Cheese event during Christmas break, not last year, but the one before, so people could have a day to bring their kids out and do something fun without having to spend money. So we really love to do events just to get to meet the people that we talk to on Facebook, just to kind of connect them with each other too, and get them to volunteer, and because we'll look for volunteers for our events and stuff. So it gives people an opportunity to get involved. So I'd like to do more events.
Are there places like bowling alleys and places like that donate their places to your kindness organization?
Sometimes it just depends. We've had businesses donate stuff, or we'll have businesses or individuals donate to sponsor the event, and then we're kind of helping whatever place we have it at. We're kind of helping them out by having it there. So yeah,
they'd actually be happy to have your event there because that would bring more people in their place of establishment.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we try to do all this stuff at local businesses in Delco. Like we try to do it at like McDade Bowl instead of like the I forget what it's called, the one on 322, Dan might
Yeah.
know. You're the only one from the area, right? The big like corporate bowling alley. Like we try.
Oh,
Yeah,
Conchester, the Conchester Lanes. I used to live right by
Yes, right, correct.
Like there's the one
Yes.
that's like the big corporate bowling alley. Like we
Yes, yes.
McDade Bowl. It's owned by like a Delco guy that has owned the place for a while. So like, and
Nice.
McDade is a local family that owns that. Chuck E. Cheese was the one exception, just because we were kind of broke and they were very affordable. But most of the time, we choose the small local businesses to have our events at, just so we're giving money back to the families of Delco rather than giving it to big corporations.
Excellent. Yeah,
Love that.
good.
So I got to ask Amanda, why, when you first started this, why did you like keep it quiet, especially from your husband?
I felt like if I talked about what I'm doing, it would seem like bragging and would kind of take away from the purpose of it. Like,
Wow.
I don't do it for the recognition. And even now, like, it's kind of weird having to have that recognition because of making it a nonprofit. It's kind of unavoidable now. So I just wanted to do it just for myself and the people that were receiving it. I didn't want people to know what I was doing.
Right.
So getting recognition, that you're saying that was out of your comfort zone at the time, but now do you sort of feel a sense of accomplishment now that you're getting used to this notoriety that you're getting?
Yeah. I definitely feel like I'm doing something good in the community. And when people see me and recognize me, like if I have people I don't know come up to me and be like, hey, I know you from Facebook, like it feels good. I mean, sometimes it feels awkward because I'm often looking at them like trying to figure out if I've met them or not. Sometimes I haven't. They just know me because I do a video on our Facebook page every week. So
right.
They recognize my face or they often recognize my voice. Like I've been at places before and people will be like, I thought I heard you talking and recognized your voice because I always see you on Facebook on Wednesday. So,
awesome.
So this has actually helped you to grow as a person as well, and you're helping other people to grow too as well.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win for you and for the people that are viewing and participating.
Yeah, I think it helps others a lot too. For example, we have a lady in her 70s that has actually become a close friend of mine. I took her out to lunch today. And we've kind of bonded over the nonprofit stuff. And she has volunteered before. She volunteered at our bowling event. She volunteered at a couple other events and helped me with a lot of stuff. And she and I have become good friends. And she's older. She doesn't drive anymore. She doesn't go out a whole lot. So it gives her an opportunity to do something productive to help with our events and stuff. And it benefits both of us and the people that are attending the events.
And maybe you could help other people start their own groups in different cities.
People have suggested that to me, and when I hear that, it's like, oh, that sounds great. But then when I think more about it, it just sounds overwhelming.
Yeah, but you never know. You never know what thing's going to lead to one thing's going to lead to another.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't have the resources to branch out right now. I like to keep it like. I guess I think of it like I've compared it to like coffee shops before. Like I'd rather be like the equivalent of like the mom and pop coffee shop than like the Starbucks.
Yeah, but maybe you're not. It's not about that. It's about you're helping other people to help themselves, and so that's actually it's going to help people nationwide or in a bigger venue than just your own city.
Oh, if other people heard about it and wanted to start it in Chester County or in California or wherever, I would love that. I definitely wouldn't discourage that. I would be very happy about that. I just don't think that we will ever expand our mission statement.
Oh, no. Oh, no, but they'd start their own and they could come to you for advice on how to do it.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that's actually how you do it. And I know that Dan and me and Bay, we always love to share our experience with people and the things that we've done to accomplish what we've done.
Yeah, you want to bring in Mom's question here, Bay?
I can't actually read it because my screen is all goofed up right now.
Here we go. Mama checking in here. My mom said it makes people think about paying it forward by your example. I think I read some stuff that you mentioned that one of the things you like is when people pay it forward.
Yeah, we love when people do that. And sometimes they do. Like sometimes people will win stuff on the Treat Yourself Tuesday giveaway that I had mentioned. And then a couple weeks later, they'll buy a gift card from their favorite local restaurant and they'll donate it to us. So we can, like basically they'll sponsor one of the other giveaways. And by doing that, they're not just making somebody smile by giving them a gift card, they're also helping their favorite business by maybe getting them a new customer. So stuff like that, there are always ways to pay it forward. Or if you do things for people and they're like, I want to do whatever to pay it back, I always tell them you can donate to our organization and we'll use it to do something for someone else, or you can just go out and do your own act of kindness, whatever works for you. Just keep an eye out for someone that might need help or someone who looks like they're having a bad day and do something for them.
Mm. How do you, like you just said, do you like always keep your eye open now to like, in case you notice something now?
Here's an example. I was out at dinner with my family. My dad was in town, so I was out with my dad and my sister and my sister's kids. And we were at a diner, and all of a sudden the waitress gets the attention of the whole dining room, and she says that it's this lady's 81st birthday. And like the whole dining room sang happy birthday to her. So I went up to our waitress and I was like, hey, can you give me her check? I'd like to pay it. And I gave her a business card. So I didn't plan on doing an act of kindness when I left. I was just trying to have a quiet dinner with my family.
Right.
I was able to, do something just because I saw an opportunity and did it. And there have been times, there was a time at Dollar Tree where the person in front of me, their card got rejected. And I was just like, hey, don't worry about it. And I just got our nonprofit card and stuck it in the card reader and gave them our business card. So like, I'm always kind of looking for stuff to do. They're kind of my favorite things to do, the things that just present themselves. And I'm like, oh, that seems like a good opportunity.
It's almost like it was meant for you to do that.
Yeah. And that's why I like to have donations that aren't allocated for specific projects. Like sometimes we'll do things like we collected money back it was Thanksgiving Eve. We reimbursed people for Uber rides. So to keep people from drinking and driving. So we collected money specifically for that. But any of the money we took in for that, we had to use for that specific project, which ended up being really successful. We had 101 people get reimbursed for Uber rides that night.
Wow.
Thanksgiving Eve, that was it, 101. But something like that, people are donating to a specific project, and 100% of the money goes to that project, unless it's overfunded, and then it goes to the next thing. But when we have to make donations that aren't allocated to the project, it's nice because then I'm able to use that for stuff like the lady's birthday party and paying for her dinner and paying for the person's stuff at the Dollar Tree. So I love doing the random stuff like that. That's what really makes me happy.
Awesome.
That's how I started out, doing stuff like
Sure.
that. Like you were just saying, this was meant to be, Bay.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually I would call it a pure ministry is what she's doing. Because in the ministry, people do these kind of things, and it's really a calling when they call it anointed. And so it's actually a real giving thing, whether you are a believer or whatever you ascribe to. Even if they're even, I don't want to get into names of religious figures or anything, but even I would say most spiritual ministers would say that definitely is a spiritual thing you're doing.
Yeah, I think some of it's kind of based on my Buddhist beliefs. The concept of loving kindness, the word for it in Buddhism is metta, which is
Yep.
There's no direct English translation for it, but it basically means extending kindness to everybody without expecting anything in return. And without including like other living things like animals and stuff too, not just people. It's kind of complicated. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but a lot of our beliefs are based on Buddhist theories and beliefs.
Well, no, I mean, any of these guys that I had been fans of, ministers like Robert Schuller or Billy Graham or any of these guys, they would say you've got a relationship with God, and that even though you may claim you are Buddhist, even though you are Buddhist, he would say, well, no, that's the God's in there, but you just call it a different name.
I don't personally believe in God, but I see.
I know, but I'm saying that's what they would say. What'd you say?
Okay. It's like
that's what they would say. They would say, well, she's calling it a different thing, but she's got it.
Yeah. She's doing great work out there. Let's go through this slowly so everybody knows. Bay, you're going to put this up on the screen too, and put it in the comments afterwards. If people want to donate, again, I know you said we have Cash App and Venmo. Let's give that out there.
Okay, so are you typing it in, or you want me to say
No,
it?
you can say it. I'm going to type it in
Okay.
too, but you can say it.
So to find all the options to donate, you can go on the website, keepdelcosmiling.org, and click on Support Our Mission. All the options are listed there. Venmo and Cash App are just at Keep Delco Smiling, and PayPal is our email address for that is keepdelcosmiling@yahoo.com. That's also the email address you can use if you have any questions or want to reach out to us for any reason. You can use that email address. But the website is probably the easiest way to find all of the different ways to donate, or the Facebook page. I would definitely suggest follow the Facebook page because we do a lot of fun stuff on Facebook. That's where we do most of our stuff. The website, I don't update it a whole lot.
So we're going to follow this on Facebook, and then what we're going to do is, would you check back in with us and say in about 6 months just to get an update on how things are going and how you guys are doing with the organization?
Okay.
Excellent.
Next 6 months might be a little slow. We're going to be traveling in the summer and probably won't do a whole lot, but we definitely hope to do our bowling event in the end of July, middle to end of July.
Perfect. We'll check in before then. We appreciate you coming on, Babe. You know, it's great. It matches in lines with what we believe in my company, and we wanted to get you on and kind of just hear about your great organization. Appreciate you coming on this month, and we're going to check back with you.
Okay.
Very nice meeting you.
Yeah, Amanda, you did great. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
It was great meeting you all, and I'll talk to you in 6 months then.
Take care now.
Take care, Amanda. Talk to you soon.
Good night.
You too. All right.
You know
awesome.
something? And she did really good.
She did excellent. It's hard to come on. And people that don't like public speaking, it's difficult to want to come on. She's doing some great stuff.
You know, I related with her in reverse. And I know it's hard for you guys to believe, but I always loved being in the center of attention. But as a kid, but as a kid, I was embarrassed that I loved being in the center of attention. It was like I couldn't stop doing it, but at the same time, it was like, why am I so outgoing?
Let's do this. Let's get this. Let me see. I don't know if I can get that clear enough.
But everybody is always thinking, you know, the guy with the curly hair wishes he had straight hair, and the guy with straight hair wishes he had curly hair.
And the guy with no hair wishes he had hair. Where is, I don't know if I could, Hub, you're playing. Here we go. You're sitting with another gentleman playing an instrument here, and I want you to explain this. What are we playing here? I'm
not playing. That's a pedal steel guitar. That's in all the classic country songs. They're using it right now. I'm just hanging with this guy, and I thought it's amazing too because I've gotten a lot of likes for that picture. As I don't get I'm not a huge star on Facebook or anything like that, but for that picture, it got a lot of likes.
It did. I was noticing that. So where were you? Hub took a little trip, and he was doing a bunch of different musical things here over the last few days. What were you you traveled? Where'd you travel to?
No, it was right here in Dallas, and I was at the It's in Irving, but it's Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah,
and it's at the Dallas. See, I always worked in music stores, so that's kind of my wheelhouse. And when I moved here, I did not know that I'd be going to conventions because I always went to the conventions in LA and Los Angeles. And especially for working in a music store and selling equipment and all that. And I would go to NAMM and all the different shows and the guitar shows. And I always was into, meeting and networking with people and meeting friends. It's just really fun to just, meet people, meet new friends who have things in common. We're interested in music and hang out with musicians, creative people, that kind of thing. And, so when I moved back here, I didn't think about that I would be going to trade shows here too. So, but this is a different crowd. Generally, a lot of the other shows I've gone to are rock and roll, but this is country. And I think you're, we're not going to get in politics, but I think sort of like these people are definitely on the right side of the politics. And I think you are too, Dan. I don't know if we talk about that or anything, but I don't know about you, Babe. We don't talk. He doesn't talk about politics either. But I'm just saying, these are really great people. They're really fantastic people to hang out with, and so it's really great to. I'm sorry?
Let's get into some of the reasoning. The people from Texas, in general, every time I've been there, handful of times over the year, why are they so darn nice and accommodating? In general, the nicest darn people I met. Every time I go out there, it's tremendous people. Really just accommodating, friendly, a different vibe than I get here in the city of brotherly love.
I bet there's some fantastic people there too. And I've got friends on Facebook that are in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania area, and they're fantastic people too. I really
the
don't.
people of Houston, the accommodating. We went to Houston. I couldn't believe how overly accommodating and friendly every single person was. And it makes a big difference. We were talking about. We put some post up on it. Makes a huge difference. I mean, especially you're out of town. You go for conference. It's a tight schedule. To have that a little extra care from the facility and the people that work there and all goes a long way, making you feel at home when you're jamming a conference in over a short period of time. But we had a tremendous time out there. The people were fantastic.
Yeah, but you're part of their family, and you're part of their mentoring network. That you guys mentor each other in that group. And so when you get there, you just can't wait to stay there, and you don't want to leave probably.
We do. We had 1,000 people. I mean, pictures with the CEO.
Wow.
With and last year was like 1,300. We had a little less this year. I think maybe the venue this year is economics a little bit. But you hit the nail on the head as usual, Hub. The camaraderie and the like-mindedness, how we do business, some of our philosophy, some of our principles. I tell you, when people get there, it's just a big think tank. We like to, in fact, the guys I used to work with at the recycling company have an app. When they do conventions, you can go on the app and you could do breakout sessions in small groups, and you could connect through this app. I think we're going to be doing more and more. I want to try to put that out there to our folks. I think we're going to be doing more and more breakout sessions because it helps for learning. It helps for referrals in other states. So I mean, as the conference evolves as every year goes on.
Yeah, but Dan, here's what I think you like about Texas is that Texas has always been very business oriented, and we're really about prosperity and making things happen, and we really like to have business is really important. We want to learn how to put a business together. We're entrepreneurs. We really like that here. It's really really big. Bay and I were talking about that. What got with this guy, the drummer of Pantera, and they're from Dallas, and their dad was their manager. And I told him like right now they've put the family has put the band back together, even though their sons are both passed away. And because they're very business oriented. And when he was a kid, the drummer Vinnie Paul, he wanted to play clarinet, and so he's bought a clarinet, and his dad took the clarinet away and drove off with it, and because he owned a recording studio, and he said, and the kid was crying. Vinnie Paul was crying, and he said, "Son, you'll never make any money with that." And he went down to the pawn shop and bought him a drum set. He said, "You're going to learn this. You're going to learn something you can make money with, you can play, you can get gigs with, and you're not going to be playing that horn instrument." And so it wasn't surprising that they put the band back together, even though their sons aren't in it. They own the name. It's just we're really, really business oriented, and prosperity is really a great thing. And the reason prosperity is a great thing is because you can do good things for people in the world, like she was talking about.
Yeah.
So we had a driver or Uber driver that took us over to Truth Barbecue. He is a robotic engineer, fits people for mechanical prosthetics during the day, and he drives Uber at night. And he says, "I want to retire early." Young fella, late 20s, but he's doing Uber. He's doing $1,000 a week with Uber, and then he works during the day as a robotic engineer. And like you said, very, very business-like. A lot of young business professionals in Houston. It seems like in several different sectors, a lot of opportunity, of course, oil and gas, and just to get to know the people and kind of the lay of the land over there. They said in the 70s it wasn't great there, and then over the years it's booming there now. The education system that you could tell by the freeways under construction, the high-rise buildings going up in downtown Houston. It is, like you said, there is a lot. If you want to hustle and work, there seems to be quite a bit of opportunity up there. It's always nice to go to a different state, meet the people, and kind of try the local food. And so here's a Delco connection real quick. So we wanted to go to this place called Truth, which is supposedly one of the top barbecue places. So my good friend Renee Rubatucci from Fallcroft knows the owners over there. So she said they're covering for another pitmaster in another business, but ask for this guy when you go and he'll take care of you. So that's the Delco connection. You're 2,100 miles away in Houston and you get hooked up by your friend from the old neighborhood. So
and so she lives down there in Houston now?
No, she lives in Connecticut. She's a big advertising executive out of New York, but she travels a lot for work. So they have friends that own this Truth Barbecue, and she's like, you got to try Truth. It's ranked like the third best barbecue in all of Texas, top 3 in all of Texas. So it was excellent, and they're only open 5 to 9. They close once if they sell out. They close. So it's 5 to 9 or when sold out. So you can buy the meat by the pound, you can buy it by the platter, you can get sandwiches, that all trough of beer and sodas, all kinds of neat stuff when you walked in. You went up to the counter and then you sat down. It was like kind of buffet style, but they served really neat, really neat.
And they do have good barbecue in Philadelphia too, don't they?
Yeah, it's getting more and more and more now, way more. Like there's a lot of places now. So it's been more prevalent.
What's that place on McDade Boulevard, Daniel? What's the name of that?
Big Daddy's.
That's it, Big Daddy's.
We're going to play the commercials. You're going to rerun them. That was when Chuck choked me when I was eating his Big Daddy's barbecue. And then we did the commercial for the pizza place right there right by Ashland Middle.
Dino's.
Excellent. He's a great guy.
Dino's awesome.
Great people. Yeah.
Hey Dan, are you in a different room than you usually are?
I am in the office because I haven't stopped since I got off that plane from Dallas. Today I went from the house, did some business, came to the office. Then I went down to Delaware County and taken a new listing in Ridley Park. And I came back here to the office. That's why we're starting an hour late. I like my hour earlier in Central Time Zone too. We'll talk about that one day. But I love when things start early. I'm like, wow, this is great. Everything's an hour earlier. But yeah, I'm in my office. I came back here because it's halfway between Delco and home. We've been so busy. The market, they keep saying that things are bad. They're bad. The news is not. The news has to figure out a way to get truthful. The news is not matching up to, it's my politics. The news is not matching up to what's going on. We're not the biggest player, so it's some sort of a barometer, right? So kind of how we're doing. This is my best January, February in 17 years. This is how steady it's been, and the market's changing, and there is light inventory, and the interest rates keep fluctuating. They went down again, but it seems like we are. If you stay the course, you're still going to be able to navigate this market with a professional realtor by your side. You'll be in better shape. But yeah, we've been busy and steady, and Lisa just did one today. I forget today or yesterday, and then so in the last couple of weeks we did like 5 deals. So we're for our little office, we're service. It's all about service, taking care of people. I'm getting phone calls. My phone rings. This is when you're getting your footing. My phone rings now and says, "Hey, I want you to come down and list my house," because we've done enough deals now as an organization that we set that standard that people know the kind of work that we're going to do. So the Dennis, good friend Dennis and his family, they referred this nice couple. They're going to upsize. They have 3 kids. House is a little small for them. So really beautiful home in Ridley. So going to get that on the market coming up. We just sold one in Coatesville. We have our Center City house. So Bay's going to do a song. I've been everywhere. Man. Bay, you and Hub are going to do that rendition together. That's going to be our next intro song. We're going to make Hub create an intro song for us. That's what we're going to do. That we're going to have as our kind of our tag song. We're going to get Hub to do that for us. But so a lot of investors looking for houses. So that market's doing well. There's not a lot of inventory. there's still a high demand on the buyer side right now. And if you're selling your house as of right now today, which is the 15th, you're still going to, in most instances, do very well. So,
here's the thing, though.
Go ahead.
I think that you specialize in a certain type of buyer. I think you do. I think you specialize in a buyer who is trading up from one house to the next house. And when their house goes up, then they trade to a better opportunity. I think, is that true or not?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, a lot of first-time home buyer and a lot of move-up buyers. That's kind of my market. It is. Yeah, we do a lot of first-time, a lot of move-up buyers. Where you know what, too, it has to do with your sphere of influence too. So I'm 50, so a lot of my people are now starting to look at either downsizing or upsizing, getting some of the people in our circles. Everybody's hovering around that 40 to 50-year-old range. So it is true. Like this couple, they have a beautiful home. It was totally redone 7 years ago, but they have the third kid now, and they need more room, and so they're going to go over to Jersey because they want a pool and they want some different things.
Well, Bay and I talked about that, and like when you don't have as much money and you need a second car, you buy a car that you could use for a while, and then you can trade up. You can actually make some money when you sell that car. And half the people in my neighborhood, young people, they sold their houses in the last year because they made $100,000 or $150,000 off of what they owed on that house, and they either traded up or did something. They went onto a greener pasture, something bigger, just because they made a lot of equity on their house.
I have a couple clients that waited. So people keep saying, "I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait." And
they waited. What?
My mom did. You're going to wait until you wait. Barbara Corcoran's like, it's never a perfect time. You have to jump in. Now, I'll give you an example. I have a client of mine that's waited 5 years waiting for that perfect house in a perfect neighborhood. If they bought 5 years ago, Hub just made the point, we literally could have made them $100,000 off the house 5 years later and have been a move-up buyer, right? And had more buying power because they had so much equity in, just like Hub stated, in that starter house that they bought.
Yeah, and there's this author, and it's a book called How to Get Lucky, as far as increase your chances of luck, and he calls that run cutting. He says that when you're at a high level and you made a big profit, go ahead and cash in on it right then. And even if you cash in too early, you still cashed in better than if you didn't, and you're better off to do it right then. And you, even if it wasn't the top, at least you got in there and you got some advantage.
I had a guy that we had 4 properties investor, and we worked together for 10-year stretch. And he sold at 2 years ago at the cusp of this. He could have probably eked out more, but like you said, he did so well. He was thrilled with the market increase. I'll give you a quick story here. There was a house near us, and Lisa and I live out in the Westchester County area. The house was selling for $40,000 because it needed a lot of repairs, a bungalow. A realtor bought it. He bought it for $40,000. He fixed it. 10 weeks later, he flipped it sight unseen. A guy bought it for $215,000. So that flip market, if you can get your hands on properties, it's not for everybody. Don't say Dan told me to go out and buy a flip house. But the opportunities for the investor sector is what I'm saying is going to be there. So that when this market shifts, you have to think of different scenarios where you could, for us being real estate professionals and salespeople, where can we stick our nose in and be a value add to the process and help people transact with the current market conditions. And that's kind of you hear a lot of things, you absorb everything, you go to these conferences and you take it all in, and I'm not, I always say I'm not the best marketer, but we're at the conference. What they talk about, and this is something I want to tell you guys: use Instagram, TikTok, and do a podcast. They have, that's their suggestions. People doing podcasts and doing different things to kind of change, instead of sending that mailer. How, like, we brought in Amanda. She spoke from Delco, Keep Delco Smiling. That expands our sphere, right? We meet new people through her and her organization, and she's doing great things there. But I was telling him, I said, we do the podcast, and this is the way I look at it. And we had that sidebar on the business side of it. Why do I do it? How do I justify it financially? What I think it brings to our organization, and to diversify in today's market, because we're looking, it's the gentrification, even with the real estate, like the young people, so we have to adapt to the means of communication that they're using. So we get into a lot of that, right? Yeah, we get into a lot of that. In fact, that was a big chunk of our conference discussion, how to target potential clients. We don't buy. I got 4 calls today, trying to sell me leads. We don't buy leads. It's all home. Frank Demoli calls me. He said, hey, I got a client for you. That people, they know you do good business. So between your clients and your friends and your sphere, it kind of builds in. So I was happy to hear some of the things they were talking about, because it aligns what we're doing here, at my office. So that was a big positive. They think there's going to be a lot of consolidation in the mortgage sector. In fact, when I was there the last day, Bo DeForge does all my in-house stuff, and Bo called and said, hey, we got sold. So Bo's is going to be on his 4th company under the same umbrella within 8 months. So you're going to see a lot of consolidating, because people are trying to watch their pennies and align themselves financially where they're in the best position to serve now and come out of this downturn, if you want to call it that. But they did talk a lot about that. They talked about the cost for the conferences too. Go ahead.
I think that your ability to keep busy and keep more business coming in is actually a testament, because you know what you're doing. And when you know what you're doing, you're going to be doing good no matter what the economy is. It's definitely going to weed out a lot of the people that are not doing real estate.
We're hoping. So we have 39,000 agents. So with all due respect, sometimes even at our conference, the hope is that may in Philadelphia over 39,000, and just in our 5 counties, we're hoping that maybe thins out a little bit and things change a little bit. You really do. We talked about our old vice president at NextHome. He left. He started a family. He used to say being engaged versus not engaged, and you have to know. My mom was here for lunch today, and we were just talking about knowing what's on those contracts. What's the wording in those contracts? Not just telling someone to sign something they don't even know, like you, Hub, when you're playing different chords and stuff. There's an art to it and a science to it, right? So it's a different. Yep. It's not just strumming along. It's there's a learnedness. That's my new word I made up. That Dave Stinson, people say, you talk about Dave all the time. He would sit down and take the time to educate you, teach you, tell you stories. You have to appreciate that for somebody, because they trained you to the point to where you can navigate, like you said, Hub, in different market segments.
Did you want to tell us more about your experience at the event you went to?
Yeah, I tell you, they always, I think, part of it, I was a project manager, so I think part of any event is the coordination effort that goes into it. Like when you come to my house for dinner, I'm not still cooking. I'm greeting my guests. My food's mostly ready, and I'm not frantic, because if you're frantic in the kitchen, someone comes to your home, your guests are going to feel like that. They always make us feel welcome, accommodated, and they're well organized. They do international. We're in the wrong business too. We were talking about some of the costs associated with this stuff. When you bring in a speaker, do you know some of the big time speakers for 1 hour, it's $250,000 for 1 hour to come in and talk to a group. We've had some great people down there. We had, I think his name, William Bailey, first African-American guy to work for Disney, got turned down I don't know how many times. Mark Eaton, who passed away, actually was on the Utah Jazz. He was a motivational speaker. He was at one of our last conferences. So what they do is they'll bring in 3 speakers on different subjects. We had Miss America was there this year. She spoke, which helps cap our days and highlight some of the things, that we're trying to do as an organization, so the way they organize the events, they're spectacular. I noticed this year there's a lot more vendor partners. So we're expanding to like Realtor.com is doing a bunch of new programs and software applications. I'm a very old school, get in front of you. I'll sit down at your kitchen table. We'll go through stuff. Things are shifting to the digital environment. So there's a lot of partner programs with that out there.
Yeah, and I had sent you some videos on that stuff, and I was saying,
Yeah.
I was telling you I can debunk some of that stuff, because some of that stuff is not going to replace the human ability to really put a personal touch on it.
And I think
I mean, not even close. I'm sorry?
I said, I think we have to articulate that to people. You know, you lose that human touch. I'll give you an example. If I
Yeah, but
send
it's
you
not
something
just a
to
human touch. It's actually being able to use the tools wisely, because it's all about wisdom and how you're. I don't care what kind of computer you got. They tried that with Open Door. Open Door is just it's been in so much trouble. It's not even funny. Those kind of
we were
open
talking
door
about that.
computerized sales things. Everybody wants to get something for free, or they want to take the easy way out. They were going to do that with this artificial intelligence. The same thing. It's still, you got to have wisdom.
And they are collecting a lot of data. I mean, like Bay, you know, street. I think just a side note on those iBuyer type things. Street like Upper Darby, you could go from one street and 2 blocks over to a totally different neighborhood. Mm-hmm. They were doing just algorithm data saying, oh, that's right here and that's right here. They're very close together, but maybe that street is a lot different than this street. Maybe they're different types of homes. The values are higher. So I think that's where taking the experienced professional out of it and being more digital age. Like we talk about being a mix of both. You know, being a mix of the technology plus still the human element. For example, if I send you a DocuSign to sign, I got to make sure you understand what you're signing, because you're opening up and just sign. Not everybody, but a lot of people aren't reading it because it's on their phone. And I'll say, look, let's go over it. Because if I don't go over it with them and there's a lawsuit, they could say, hey, he just told me to sign it. He never reviewed the information that was on the agreement with me. So a lot of those things are important. So when we're talking with these new companies, I'll give you an example. Realtor.com is doing a new program for buyers, but they're asking for all your information. So they're data collecting, they're data mining. This is the biggest thing right now, the data mining, and then get them into the systems for these algorithms. So a lot of this is going to the tech. We do old school. I call it old school Century 21, yellow jacket type stuff, feet on the street, making relationships. It's changing, and you could see by the vendors there, the offering of the vendors, and you know some of their business models that it's done. But it doesn't take, like, we're all there, so we get the good mix of both. It doesn't take the human element out of it, you know. So yeah, some good points there, Ho.
You need to be able to use the technology, but you better have those old school fundamentals.
I say it. I mean, even we talked about this numerous times, like simple stuff like if the house isn't in a flood zone, but it's within 250 foot of a flood zone, the underwriter could ask for it to have flood insurance. So you could go through a whole transaction, spend all that money, and you don't expect to pay or can't afford to pay the flood insurance. But then the underwriter might come back at the 11th hour and say, no, we're requiring flood on this property. So what I do when I see that code come up and I see how close it is, I call whoever's handling the title, the mortgage, and I say, call the underwriter and get an answer in writing from the underwriter whether it is or it isn't going to require a flood.
That's like a whole array of knowledge that you have, that you've studied, and you have those because in expertises in those areas. It's like a lawyer. I'm sorry?
You could bring so much to your client with that little detail, not forgetting it. Not, you know how you took a test in a hard subject and you just wanted to put the test out of your head after you took it? We can't do that. It's cumulative knowledge. And this is a lot of what we talked about this week, talking with the agents about that cumulative knowledge.
And you're probably getting some of that cumulative knowledge as you're there at the event.
Absolutely. And then we really, to make relationships, you know, I say, look, I got contacts in Dallas. We got contacts in Tennessee, to have those referrals. My friend Lauren in Florida. So in fact, Carrie King, who owns an office up in Kingdom Realty, NextHome Kingdom in Binghamton, New York. She's servicing some northern PA stuff. So we're trying to make those partnerships to where the NextHome system's getting the business. We're giving you a professional realtor to work with. And babe, we've been together doing stuff, and we always say, hey, nationwide referrals with good quality vetted professionals that we can, we're in all but 2 states. It's South Dakota, I think it's South Dakota and Vermont. So every other state's covered. Puerto Rico, Hawaii. We're going to be in Mexico soon, which is not part of the U.S., I know, but we'll be in Mexico soon. So we're in Canada now. So the company has 614 offices and 5,500 members. And forget the billions. It's on Facebook. You can see it on the NextHome Facebook page, how many billions of dollars in sales we did last year, which was a year that our numbers were down around 7% across the board in the whole real estate sector. So the numbers were good. The camaraderie, the family atmosphere, the absolute unbelievable accommodations from people from Houston. So yeah, it was exciting. I don't usually like her. It's tough to put certain people in certain situations, but every time we go to the conference, we're energized. It's a like you hit the nail on the head, Hub. You're around like-minded people. You get information, and it's always good to bring that back and learn. And, really, and then plus getting the experience of going to another state. And I haven't been to Houston in like 30 years, so it was on a lot of fronts an enjoyable time.
Well, how often do you have a convention though? How often do they have?
Once a year, every year. Most corporates do it once a year. Some do it in October. A lot of them do it in February. We asked them to move ours up because we get busy March.
Okay, so
next year they're going to move it up.
Now you met some wise people there. Are you going to be able to contact them? Let's say you have a question about something, and hey, what do you think about this? Because I do that all the time. I ask people advice for all kinds of stuff, neighbors, all kind of people.
We did do that. So we started kind of regroup. In fact, I kept running into this guy from North Jersey like 5 times. He was by himself, kind of introverted guy. I kept running into him. So by the end, we fostered a good relationship. And then if I have stuff in central northern Jersey, that area, I'm going to refer it over to him, Antonio. And that's the thing where you kind of send some recaps and got to save that information. Again, where it's not out of sight, out of mind. So you can use it in your toolbox moving forward when you're helping, our clients.
So if you have a question or something, you can look them up on the network of NextHome, and you can call them. You can send.
Yep. NextHome.com too. It's all integrated now with our new website through KV Core, so it's easier to find other offices and contacts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and so you contact them if you have any questions or anything like that, because all those guys have their own expertises, and you might run into something that could actually save you or make you a lot of money somehow.
Sure, and then in the referrals, you pay to. I'll tell you one more thing here. We're doing they invited my friend Eddie Speck from NextHome Island in Long Island, a group. We call it the recruiting group, and that's our subject matter. But we have about 7 offices from out the country that are joining this call every other Thursday. So to your point, it not so much just for the recruiting, but just having good context where you get to know them a little bit and be able to refer people to them. I know we ran over here, so we'll stay on us 3 a minute after, but we'll cut the live feed here. Again, another great month with a like-minded guest who's trying to do what we're doing at NextHome. It's humans over houses, and appreciate the guys coming on and kind of having this back and forth discussion on, life, housing market, random acts of kindness. It's always good to stay positive. All right, babe, take us out of here, and we're going to see everybody next month, and we're going to line up another great guest.
All right, everybody, make sure you go check us out. Check out NextHome Brandywine, not only at the website at nexthomebrandywine.com, but also we are now on TikTok. We are on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Dan's got a personal Facebook page, and also too soon, the YouTube page will be up and running, and we're going to be bringing humans over houses throughout the world of social media and all the amazing content and Dan's tips of the day, which are amazing.
One more thing too, we're going to be sponsoring, a heavy sponsor in the Amcor Karate tournament. It's the Delco Amcor. It's the biggest around. It's one of the best in the country factually. The Amcor president is on the Olympic committee. So Master Fred Scott, don't mess with him. We are going to be, they did a great ad for us. We're going to be featured in there. So look for us. All the people from Amcor, look for us. All right. We'll see you next month. Hub, we're going to stay on for a minute. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you on the next edition.